Hello, I'm Cosmic Jack. I'm going to channel today the astrology for March because when I say this is a spiritual astrological bonanza, I'm talking, this is as wild of astrology as I've ever seen. And I know people have been talking about this astrology for like hundreds of years. And so we're at the cusp and the precipice of major change. There will be no going back after this month. It's like going to be like pre-March, post-March. And all of that is because there is some jam-packed astrology happening. And it is kicking off with Venus retrograde in Aries on March 1st. We just, of course, had the new moon. I feel like I have to actually mention the new moon because with 6 placements in Pisces, this was really like a wash of your old way of being, old way of doing things, your old life, right? Pisces is where things come full circle. Things come to a close and culmination to be reborn. Pisces is where things go to die to be reborn. And so that new moon really set the tone to begin March with a fresh start. And of course, we're like transitioning into so much Aries energy. We have Venus and Mercury going retrograde in Aries. They will, of course, be going back into Pisces. But then we'll be going back through Aries. And then we have the eclipse in Aries, which is rounding out a cycle that we've been moving through since March 2023 in the sign of Aries. And then, of course, we have Neptune moving into Aries. And so retrogrades create shifts, eclipses create shifts, outer planets transitioning into new signs create major shifts. And the fact that they are all jam-packed, tied up into a pretty happy bow. I don't know if it's a pretty happy bow, but really it's like a value box, you know what I mean? You know when you like get like deals that like the fuck, that's like what's coming through. It's like a bundle and save box is what March is. It's like you get to bundle all of your change in one happy, healthy box. That's gonna change the rest of your freaking life. And so for the discounted price of, I don't even know, for free, the astrology is giving you this custom change. And it's up to you to kind of like sink or swim. And that's really what Pisces is about. It's like, if we dropped you in the middle of the ocean, would you trust that you would be saved? Or could you figure out a way to change and transmute into a mermaid? Or could you make friends with the dolphins and, you know, they can save you. They could get you a rescue boat. Like, you know, it's like it's like that age-old story of like, God's like, I sent you a rescue boat. I sent you a different boat. And it's like but it's on you to take the life raft. It's like that is Pisces, right? Pisces is everything and nothing all at the same time. It is everything. And it's up to you to choose what you're going to create and to change. And the thing with retrogrades, it's a time of review. It's a time to rethink, rehash, recalibrate, rewire, all of those kind of rewords. And with it being with Venus, it's about your heart, and with your mind, with Mercury, it's your mind. And so we're really reviewing ourselves with these retrogrades in Aries, how you show up, how you put yourself first, how you put your best foot forward. It's your identity. Aries is your identity. It is me, myself, and I. How do you put yourself first? How do you view yourself, right? What is your self-concept? And really, like, the universe is always kind of mirroring you. So it's like, if you want to know your self-worth, your self-value, your self-concept, how you see and perceive yourself, your identity, just look at what's in your life, right? Are you happy and satisfied with the levels and the results that you're living in? Because it's like the world is always kind of showing you your ass. And so if you're not fully happy and satisfied with where you're at, March is the month to change all of that. And not only is it the month to change, the universe is forcing you to change. And what I always say is, like, change doesn't happen if nothing changes. And it's like, well, duh, but there's subconscious energies where you're holding onto beliefs, onto patterns, onto behaviors, onto programs that you've had since you were little. There are emotional blocks, right? We cling to our comfort zone. Our ego will try and talk us out of things. There is just like things that we as human are resistant to change. And so this month is really a time where it's like, yeah, we've been trying to get your attention with this one thing, but you haven't been willing to actively change it. And so now the universe is just going to change it. And so you have to really trust what is unfolding and what is happening, because in the midst of the chaos and the emotions and the upheaval, you have to trust that what is coming is better, even though you might not be able to see through the eye of the storm at this time, right? It's like the caterpillar doesn't always know that the butterfly is on the other side, but the only way out is through. And you have to trust what's being birthed and what's being created is much better and bigger. Did I say better? Butter is better. Better and bigger. Bigger and better. There's going to be lots of butter, baby, on the other side. And so you really just have to go through this initiation and transformation portal and stay grounded in the midst of the change and the uncertainty, because in order to change and really to quantum leap, it's like you actually have to feel safe to feel your emotions, and you have to be grounded and safe and secure with yourself. That is the key to quantum leaping. Trust me, I've been doing all of the quantum leaping, and that is the transformative key. And so this month is really going to be the month where you look back and you're like, okay, we did it. And I can see why I wasn't letting myself see that. I can see where I was viewing that the wrong way. And like, it's really just going to be an opportunity to change your heart, shift your perception, change your environment, because your environment is everything. It is the energy. It is a reflection of your energy. And there's so much that is going to be reflected to you, because Aries is about you. So I always just describe Aries as like infancy, right? It is the newborn baby. It is where the zodiac goes to start and begin. So there's always lots of movement and momentum and initiation and all of that with Aries energy. And I always just say, I'm like, when you're a newborn baby, everything revolves around you, because you're not self-reliant to keep you alive, right? Like you rely on other people and your caretakers and whatever, your mother, your father, to keep you, your brother, your sister, to keep you alive, right? And so that is like the me-centricness of Aries. It's like everything, like the entire family revolves around that newborn baby, right? And so that's the energy of Aries. And so if you built a life or circumstances or relationships where you forgot to include yourself, or if those things were built and constructed with a limited ego or a limited identity, those are the things that actually need to shift now. And so it's like, oh shit, like I started this company or this business when I was like really focused on like other people and people pleasing and codependent and like da-da-da-da-da. And now I want my life to revolve around me, right? Or I entered this relationship and I was a people pleaser and I was codependent and I lacked boundaries. And now I want to be included in this and getting my needs met inside of this relationship. And so everything that is shifting is a result of where you actually haven't put yourself first and been like your own BFF and your own best friend and had your own best interests and insights in the forefront and at hand. So everything that is going to be released, because I think there's just that's just what the astrology is. It's you have to release the old and the past to enter the good and the new and the bigger and the better and the blessings, right? And so there's just kind of this like cosmic chaos storm that's just like up there. The universe is like playing like it's like, you know what the energy is? It's like you're playing checkers and the universe is playing chess, right? And like they're like the universe is playing an entirely different game, and there's a lot more pawns and there's a lot more pieces at play, and you're viewing life from like your 3D lens where you're only playing with like the same checkers pieces, right? And there's so much more going on than your little mind can even like conceive or comprehend of. And it's like you actually have to get like an entirely new board to play on the same game as the universe. So it's like you actually have to stop playing checkers and start playing chess, and that requires you to change your game board, right? Your game board is your life. You have to like literally like insert a new game to play a different game. And so it's like the game is getting changed. Your reality is getting shifted, and it's like how easy and how smooth and how fast it is up to you in your own free will, because the cosmos are changing. Like we're all going to be playing chess after this. So it's like, are you going to learn to play fucking chess? Or are you going to try and play checkers while everyone else is playing chess? Because that is a recipe for getting your ass left behind, right? And so what's going to happen essentially, because these retrogrades are having you review and see these patterns where you haven't put yourself first, where you haven't been confident and convicted and sure shit and putting yourself out there, where you haven't been like self-interested and self-focused, it's going to show you those things. And then it's going to require you to shift on a very 3D level, because we have the first eclipse happening in Virgo, which it's a south node eclipse. So that is going to have to require you to release. Release to receive is what I always say. So I'm like, why are we always tripped up about releasing things? Because whatever you release, you receive. So if you want to receive the things that you want, just release some shit, right? And that can look like going through your fucking your closet. I almost just said chaos, but there is a correlation between your inner chaos with, if your closet is chaos, like guarantee your inner you operate from inner chaos. But it's like maybe actually the change that you need to release is actually in your fucking closet, right? Like if we wanted new clothes, we had to clean out our closet. You had to make room for the new clothes. And this is like where your like identity gets to upgrade. It's like, is your new identity really gonna wear that old shirt that you've been hanging on to for the past 10 years that you haven't worn? Then it's time to lovingly release it, right? That can look like you're like redoing your home. It can look like changing your habits, changing your routines, really focusing on your health, your wellness, your body, because those are all of the things that Virgo rules. Virgo is the habits, the disciplines, the routines of the day-to-day life that ultimately result in all of the success. So whatever is not serving you, Virgo is service oriented, has to actually be removed in order to make room for what you want. And so this is where you actually have to get really honest and really, I don't want to say judgmental or critical, because those are low octaves of Virgo, but like just get honest with yourself about what is serving you and what is not. What habits, what behaviors, what patterns, what routines are serving you, right? And this eclipse is going to show you those things. It's going to show you your ass. Virgo shows you your ass. Have you ever gotten advice from a Virgo? Like they will show you your fucking asshole. Like they're like, I'm going to show you exactly where you're on your one way, because you are this like, because Virgo can always show you where you're ready to improve, right? And it's like the honest to God truth that you need to hear, that your ego is like too sensitive to freaking hear. Like that's what you need to shift and change with this Virgo eclipse. Like the universe is like gonna smack you in the freaking face with the advice that you need, right? And that can require you to actually release a lot of things from a very physical place, like your health, your body, because these patterns are held within your body, and they're held within your home too. That's what Virgo teaches us. And so what habits, where are you sloppy? Where are you not, being your best self? Like Virgos are perfectionistic, and it's not that they like need perfection. It's just that they have high standards. Like Virgo has a high standard and level of living. And so it's like, where are you actually just like not allowing yourself to live up to your potential and not doing the things that you need to do to be your highest and best self? And that's what has to be released. And sometimes that requires you to like look at your physical body, because the physical body is the last place the universe actually gets your attention, because you can't avoid your body. Your body is your home, you live in it. And so if something is manifesting physically, it's trying to get your attention. And so it does that. You gotta look within the body, baby. And when it comes to things with your body, it can be really super painful. And so give your body a lot of extra tender love and care. this month as it releases these long-held patterns and stories and beliefs, because your body is your subconscious. So if there's subconscious programs and patterns at play, it's in your body, right? And eclipses always have to do with the nodes of the moon. And the moon, whenever the moon is involved, your body is involved. And so it's a time when your body is going to be really extra tired and lethargic. And so just really give your body a lot of tender love and care this month, because it's going to need the extra support. And basically that clearing opens the door for this new energy. We have this last eclipse in Aries. If you rewind back to the total eclipse, I call it the total eclipse of the heart, but it was an Aries eclipse last April that like set things on fire. Everyone got their goggles out and like looked at the fucking moon in the middle of the day. That was the last eclipse in Aries. That was conjunct Chiron. And then this is also closing out a 2-year cycle that we've been moving through with Aries since March 2023. And so if you look, there's probably some very specific patterns and themes that you've been moving through since March 2023 that are coming to a close with this eclipse in Aries. But it's funny because it's a close, but it's like a restart, because that's what Aries is about. And so like, what have you learned since March 2023? How have you developed your identity? How have you learned to put yourself? What have you started? What have you began? What have you taken initiative on? What have you just like gone for, you know? With like your confidence, your chutzpah, your way of acting and moving in the world, because Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is your masculine. And so our masculine energy has been really recalibrated the last 2 years, like how you show up for yourself, how you go about getting what you want, like how you set your boundaries, how you set your standards, like how you make yourself feel safe, seen, secure, like all of that is your Mars. And so that is coming to a fruition point with this eclipse. And what's so interesting is right after this eclipse on March 29th is Neptune moves into Aries. So we've had Neptune in Pisces for like 13, 14 years now. And so it's time for a change, right? But going from Pisces to Aries is a major shift, because it's closing something out, it's beginning something new. And Neptune dissolves whatever it touches. And so when it enters Aries, it's going to be this dissolution of the masculine, which is going to be really interesting to see how that manifests. We haven't had Neptune in Aries since the 1800s, but masculine energy is going to shift, basically. And so hopefully you've used the last 2 years, I say like just collectively it's going to shift, because the outer planets really, we look at the collective, but we're going to see this individually in our own lives, wherever Aries is. We're going to look at our Mars and like, how is your masculine going to shift, right? So think about the last 2 years as we've learned those North Node and Aries themes around your own masculine energy, your own identity, your own self-assertion, your own self-confidence, the way you see and view yourself, your identity, all of those things. How has it shifted in the last 2 years? Because you're going to need to actually almost like double down on that energy when Neptune moves into Aries, because it's almost like, not that like, it's almost like the self is going to be like homogenized, is like the way I wanted to explain it. It's like almost like people are going to like become like everyone, there's going to be like this focus on like not the individual. It's like everyone's just going to like possibly like be looked at as the same, when like Aries is the individual, it's authentic, it's self-constructive, it's self-interested. And so it's almost like there might be like too much of like a hive mindset happening, especially with Pluto and Aquarius. And Pluto is moving to the 3rd degree of Aquarius, and we've been again moving through Pluto and Aquarius since March 2023. And we're also with entering Saturn in the last decan of Pisces. So we've been working with Saturn in Pisces since March 2023. And so it's like this like 2-year timeline is like really taking off now. And so it's like everything that you've rewired and reconstructed around your masculine energy can finally move forward. And it's like you actually need to be super solid in that energy, because Neptune is going to come and then try and change it all. And then Saturn is going to move into Aries later this year and be like, did you learn those lessons or no? You know, because Saturn wants us to take responsibility for the masculine. I say the masculine because, again, that's just the energy of Aries and really wants us to have our identity, our self-concept, our self-interest, our authenticity, our outward visceral expression like on lock. And this requires you to be boundaried up, you know? This requires your standards to be freaking high. This needs, like, you have to actually be the center of your universe now. And so everything is just gonna basically get like rearranged and realigned with you as the center and you as the focus. But in order to do that, there can be the chaos of change and creation, because this month it's like it's flipping the chessboard up. All of the pieces are going on the freaking floor. And you're gonna have to like get on your hands and knees and like find the freaking pieces. Like that's the visual I'm being shown. It's like things are gonna be turned upside down. It's gonna be topsy-turvy. But be grounded in yourself and know who you are by knowing and understanding your astrology in the birth chart, because whenever there are cycles of change, of creation, of chaos, the way out is always through knowing your astrology, because it is your blueprint and the map of the way forward. So if you want support in anchoring in this change and navigating this next phase of your life like a boss, like the cosmic conduit that you are, I'm actually going to be launching a new mastermind called Cosmic Shift, which is basically supporting you and anchoring in this next level version of you through astrology, through your own birth chart, and through support and guidance, because you can make the change land 100 times faster and 100 times easier with support and with clarity in what's happening, so that you actually know exactly what's happening and how to navigate it. And the astrology is the language that paves and paints the way. And then I got you and teaching you exactly what to do so that you can be grounded in the midst of this change and this transition. I'm super excited about it because I've gone through the most epic up level and transformation these last 6 months. So I have you in leveraging the astrology to have leverage over your life and really landing this quantum highest level version of you, your highest self, with grace and ease, peace, flow, fun, joy, all of the above. So I'm super excited to support you through this astrology, through this year, because listen, I found astrology when I was flattened on my ass. People generally don't move to the spirituality until they're flattened. And it's like this year, you're like, everyone's gonna get leveled if you haven't been doing the work. And so just use your own fruition. I said fruition, I'm like, your own volition to really take it upon yourself to have support and really landing this change. This is where the North Node in Pisces is directing and navigating us anyway. It's all about spirituality for the next 18 months, and it is really developing that connection to your higher self, to spirit, and to the cosmos to really support you in guiding and landing this change, this manifestation, making your dreams a possibility. And that's really what the high octave of Pisces, it's like the manifestation master. So if that calls and that speaks to you, I'll post all of the information in the show notes. We start mid-March, but I'm super excited to be holding a space for that change and that transformation, because you're not going to recognize yourself on the other side, and you're just going to be in alignment with your soul, with your path, with your purpose, and know how to always navigate your life anytime it shifts through the power of astrology. So sending you lots of love as we embark on this month of March. It's going to be epic, and it's going to shift and change the game. So start playing chess and stop playing checkers. Bye, guys.